All right, a little late because of technical difficulties, but I think we're all good now. Nice. Okay.
Yeah, good stop.
Yeah, I got them punting, Jack. I guess you're a little bit behind.
All right. Well, same as usual. Do what you can to not spoil it. Although this isn't the Eagles playing. This is just two AFC teams I don't really care about.
Mhm.
So if you're gonna spoil it,
Yeah,
that's
good
cool.
stuff. Okay. I guess you're all right. I guess we're all good. Okay, so starting the game off slow start for the Titans. To be honest, if you're a Titans fan, do you really want to be at this game right now?
I've heard that there's a lot of Bills fans down there, and I'm looking at the crowd, and I think there's a lot of Bills fans there right now.
The
Bills Mafia.
the other thing I noticed was watching the Chiefs versus the Washington football team. There's so many Chiefs fans there.
Well, I don't know who in
It's
their right
really
mind
hot.
would want to go to a Washington football team fan as a fan of the football team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it was Sean Taylor retirement day, so I figured they'd at least
No.
have some sort of showing, but
But they
I
did
guess
such
not.
a piss poor job of advertising it the Wednesday before. Like,
Well,
It was
yeah, it was a cover up
I mean, it was they didn't have
or a
any type of
distraction, really.
they didn't have any type of speaker. This has been like a viral tweet on Twitter, but they had like no speakers there. Dan Snyder shows up to meet the family the morning before in a fucking hoodie. And like they do the street renaming in front of the row of porta potties in the parking lot.
yeah, not a great look.
Yeah, that's pretty tough all around.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we kind of talked about this earlier, but Jack, you're just saying they're just trying to do it just to like get attention off of them. You think?
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. This is
And I don't know what
PR.
else would have been.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's shitty PR, but it's still PR. I mean, it's like Wolf Cola, public relations disaster. Like this is of the same nature.
They, they should have done it last year, like when they're like about to make the playoffs. But who knows? Maybe that wasn't the right time either.
I think the right time to do it was maybe like
The new name
within
change.
within 2 years of him past like dying of him, the tragedy.
Yeah, that would have been smarter, but I'm just trying to think now. I think they should have saved it for like the next name change, maybe.
I don't know. I don't think there's anything saving that team as long as Dan Snyder is associated with it.
Yeah, I mean, no one likes him as a. No, the fans don't like him as a owner, but we'll have to
No
see.
one likes him as a human being.
Yeah,
Forget
he's not
owner.
very well liked by anybody.
Well, the other thing too, I was going to mention about that, it was like, oh yeah, I was going to say, what do you guys think about their? You think their defense is getting a little more legit now?
The football team.
Yeah, because they were so bad, but I feel like
They're not good. It's still a bad defense right now, but I'd say they're a bit better than they were in the beginning of the season.
Yeah,
Like there's no reason they should have been giving up like 30 plus points a game to teams like the Giants and Atlanta. But
Cole Beasley.
I mean they were forcing turnovers against the Chiefs for a while, but they eventually
Yeah,
pulled
but
away.
the Chiefs are you know
Turnover
we've
prone.
seen
No, I
yeah
agree.
they're yeah I don't think wait who's overrated.
Mahomes. Did you guys see that?
No, I don't think he's
Interceptions in
overrated.
the past 15 games.
I
I
did.
think no, I think he's still a very good quarterback. I think that defenses are now getting better reads on him.
I think he's trying to do too much.
That too.
He's still clearly an extremely talented quarterback, but like he's just making like just kind of boneheaded mistakes trying to make plays that aren't there, I guess. Because he knows he can get away with it a lot of times, but just he hasn't been getting away with it lately. But yeah, like he's I think second in the league in interceptions now, which is kind of crazy
Who's
to think
first?
about.
It's got to be like Trevor Lawrence, right?
I
Yeah, that might
think
be
it
good.
was
Or Zach Wilson.
it might be Wilson.
How about Darnold?
Exception rate. Well, Darnold threw up one in the
Garbage
past 2
after
weeks.
looking possibly promising after the first few weeks. Who knows? Who knows?
I'm pulling it up right now if no one else knows.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know off the
I'm
top of
looking
my head.
for it. It's Zach Wilson has 9, and then Lawrence and Mahomes have 8, and then Darnold and Joe Burrow have 7 apparently, and so does the great Davis Mills. But yeah,
With Davis.
it's Zach Wilson at the top.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
I mean, maybe we can hop into this a little bit. Be a little different than what we normally do. What do you guys think now? Like, it looks like the college quarterbacks. I mean, if I'm a GM, you're not. I'm guessing you guys would agree. You're not drafting one in the top 10, probably, right?
Maybe not
No.
the top 10, but like the Steelers are a team that I figure are going to be looking at a quarterback this draft. So I think
Say his name.
there's like some talent in the middle of the first round that I'd be okay with, but like if I were picking in the top 5, I would not be comfortable taking any of these quarterbacks.
I honestly feel like you get a lot of boom and bust cycles, like a rotation where you'll get a crop of, graduating seniors, people that run out of their eligibility, I guess is the more proper term. And, every 3 or 4 years you get that. And I feel like now we're coming into, different QBs coming into schools, getting their first looks. I mean, I say that as an Ohio State fan, but I know that there's a lot of schools similarly where you're getting quarterbacks that are just kind of taking the reins.
Yeah, I mean, what happened is like coming into the year, people thought it'd be Spencer Rattler would kind of be like a breakout player, and Sam Howell would continue to be good. But now Rattler got benched, and I think he's going to end up transferring at the end of the year. So he's kind of no longer in the equation. And Sam Howell is all right, but he's not doing as well this year. So there's like some kind of talented, like traitsy quarterbacks you might be able to bank on, but there's no like the guy like there was.
Something I think about is college football nowadays is usually setting the trends. And I feel like defense in college now is starting to catch up to the offensive innovation. I feel like there's been a good response. Like I think about the Georgia defense.
Yeah, I mean,
and even like Iowa's defense for a while. And you have all these teams now that are like being built around their defenses. And
this year it doesn't really feel like these explosive offensive teams are at the top. I mean, granted, Oklahoma looks a lot better now, and they're number 3, and obviously they're a big offensive team. But I agree. I mean, Georgia's the team to beat, and they're just a pure defensive wall right now.
Yeah, even Iowa. I mean, well, I guess they lost this past week, but I mean, very good defensive team also. Penn State, very good defensive team as well.
Yep. I mean, even Alabama.
Do you think that's just more of a product of coaches, like transferring players over, like the star players over to defense, or you just think that there's more of a focus on defensive head coaches?
I don't really know. Like
teams.
Like sometimes you'll like recruit players and kind of see if they fit better as like a DB or a receiver or like a tackle or an offensive lineman or something like that. But I think it has more to do with just kind of like the recruiting profile. These teams are trying to get like a lot faster on defense and recruiting like the best athletes they could to kind of fit these defensive schemes, because like previously it was just adding speed to offense, and now teams are trying to counter, and it seems like kind of the paradigm has shifted a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I was going at. Like we've seen the dominance of offense in college, so much so that you're starting to see the proliferation of like a lot of college coaches in the NFL. Granted, like, yeah, that's usually where a crop of NFL coaches come from is college. But I feel like you got great offensive minds from the college game coming to the NFL. And then as Quinn said, I think teams are starting to recruit more like speed and fit, like the recruits that teams are getting on defense, the individual players, these are aliens. These are dudes that are, they have the speed, but they also have the size and strength where, that's it. Like they've literally I don't like saying this because at the end of the day, these are like student athletes, like they go to school and whatever, but and they're also humans, but like these are almost like laboratory inventions, like the size and strength of some of the dude. And I guess in a sense it is. I mean, you think about some of the big sports medicine programs and things like that a lot of these schools have, and you have like a lot of these players being developed as like just absolute 5-tool type players.
Yeah, I mean they have it all down to a science. I mean everything is from weight, like the weight kind of weightlifting program, dietitians, all that kind of stuff. Like they're trying to maximize these players as much as possible.
And I think about it. I know this is definitely the case in the NHL. I'm not sure about football. Like there's been a lot of people who are talking about a shift from like all weights to like resistance band training and like different and like even completely just new working out, like new philosophies about that.
I don't really know, actually. I mean, I know.
I mean, Jack, you obviously know the most probably about hockey, but I mean, still a very physical sport. Is the resistance band just training those? Is that just because it's more natural, like training certain muscles that are affected with weight training than with?
I think that's part of it, but the other part of it is like eventually these guys don't need to bulk up. They need to like create and they need to get more endurance. Like I think they're just trying to get more endurance and not require a lot of strain, but rather like just kind of push to the limit. And I guess that's what strain is. But I honestly don't really know, but to me, as like someone who used to play, it makes sense because like in season, you want to continue building your muscle, but you don't want to be like, in a full on regimen that a typical weight train, like a heavy weights regiment has.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see. Like, start hearing about it. I
Here,
obviously
one sec.
have insider looks what's going on, but I guess time will tell to see. I mean, I don't think that's a bad point to make because I mean, well, one of my favorite players of all time, I think a fan favorite, Vince Wilfork, obviously huge, and I'll tell you, he probably wasn't doing too much resistance training, but then also a lot of. I mean, the other argument I will make with that too is, I feel like football, especially like running backs and defensive ends, a lot of times now that's a lot of situational guys. So you're not necessarily having people play all 3 downs. Like you'll see a running back being for first and second down, and they have a totally different style of back coming on 3rd down. Mm-hmm. Or you have edge rushers for situational, if it's a pass rush or they're running the ball. So it's all kind of different in that sense. So I think it's like these more specific guys, maybe that would apply to more. Or if there's like a guy that's a do-it-all kind of guy, they got to have this kind of different type of weight training and not be built to be in a specific type of situation only.
Well, yeah.
Regardless.
Sorry.
Oh, I was just. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like the regimen, it's a lot different in football. These positions are so specialized. Like obviously, the way linemen are training and eating is a lot different than kind of what a skill guy would like. I'd imagine like your receivers, obviously you want them to be bulkier so they can kind of fight through contact, but I'd imagine like maybe that's a lot more resistance band type training compared to just kind of pure weight training. Just because football position wise, it gets more specialized than a lot of other sports are.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, I'm sure as time will tell. Obviously, we'll see like what the trends end up being. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see if like people ends up being a lot more of a slimmed down sport than having like these big boys up in the trenches. But who knows? All right, you guys want to start getting into some games this week that you guys saw?
I'd love to. Yeah.
All right, you want to start with some 1:00 games? I don't know what you guys were watching.
Well, since the Steelers were.
As time will tell, obviously, we'll see.
Like not on at 1:00. I got to sit down and watch Red Zone for the whole 1:00 window. So I kind of have my eye on all those games.
Hey, wait a minute. I'm gonna call timeout real quick.
All right.
You said the 1:00 game. I think you're completely overlooking the 9:30 a.m. London game. Which
I did not see that one. Well, I saw the end of it.
I didn't watch it, but I read on the Ringer. I don't know the author, but interesting stat about the London games. is that there have never been two teams that played in a London game that eventually made the playoffs. Like, meaning like no two teams that like it's not like you have a playoff matchup where it's like, let's just say that Green Bay has never played. Like it's not like, you know what I'm saying? No two
Yeah, I
teams.
get you, man.
And the thing is that like only like the Giants, the year they won a Super Bowl, played in the first regular season London game against the Dolphins and won like 13-10.
Well, do you think that's just the NFL like sending over the not as skilled team?
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
that's
no, that's
intentional.
literally what it is. I mean,
Because,
I think they've incentivized it.
It's like
Yeah,
they don't want to put their primetime matchups in such a weird time slot. It's like obviously
the West Coast.
it's a lot of it just based on viewership is based on the Eastern Standard Time zone. So you don't want to put your premier match on like 9 a.m. in Eastern time.
I don't even think the NFL picks. I think the owners themselves volunteer. And
Well, the Jaguars always play a game, and they have like one like guaranteed home one game, and then the rest kind of gets picked from there, I guess.
well, two things I've seen and I've read based off of that article is number one, the Jaguars make a significant amount of their money on that game. And it's partially because they make like a large revenue on that game. Like they're guaranteed at least like I forgot what it was, but I think they make 15% more revenue on the London game than they do on their home games.
Yeah,
in
because
Jacksonville.
It's a guaranteed sellout essentially, and then I'd imagine kind of the NFL media deal kind of cuts in more for kind of just always having to travel away to that game.
Yeah, but one of the other things I've read is that like the NFL to incentivize playing in the London game is that if you want to get the NFL's approval to move cities, then you have to play in the London game. I think that's why the Rams played in it a few years ago.
Interesting.
I'll pull it up now. I'm gonna find it.
Well, maybe Quinn, you might know this, but the owner of the Jags, doesn't he also have a soccer team in England as well?
Yeah, he
Yes.
Fulham FC. Yeah, so obviously he has kind of investment in the area. So it makes sense at least from his perspective.
Yeah, so I'm sure that also plays into it. But yeah,
For sure.
He is a businessman.
But hey, I mean, the trip to London was successful. They snapped their 20-game losing streak.
Yeah, I mean,
finally on the board.
I guess you guys didn't watch it, but it wasn't the prettiest of games by any means.
No.
I mean, the Dolphins also they're down. They're the two best defensive players, arguably, in Xavier Howard and Byron Jones.
Yeah.
But I mean, they didn't do too bad against against Trevor Lawrence, obviously. But my gosh, does that Jaguars offense need help all around? It looks like.
Mm-hmm. I mean, honestly, the Dolphins, at least when I saw in the end, they kind of lost it due to coaching. What was it, 4th and 1? The Dolphins had to run from shotgun at their own 44 or whatever. And then they let the Jaguars
Horrible coaching.
That little kind of pop slant with 5 seconds left, and then down it with the second left to kick the field goal. It was just talk about throwing away a game.
Yeah, they gave them on a platter.
For real.
I mean, yeah, the Dolphins just I don't know. I think people really thought they were gonna be a lot better than they were this year.
I thought so.
But their O-line is garbage. They can't. They're like it was not last year, the year before. They got that Austin Jackson guy.
Yeah.
Who I think most scouts would just say was raw.
I mean, they've already moved him to guard. I think
they
really work out at tackle.
Oh, okay. Wait, this is what it was. By the way, sorry to interrupt, but I actually found some of the incentives. So the main big one is if a team wants to host the Super Bowl, then they have to play in London.
All right.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah, they did that recently. And then relocation in new city. That's why the Raiders were playing in London for 2 years.
Okay.
And then now they're going to have divisional rotations.
All right.
And
so
I think And they're really trying. Like, I'm pretty sure the NFL signed a 10-year deal to have with the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium to host their games there.
and
And
they're also going to Germany likely. I mean, I don't know if that ever got confirmed, but I know it was like seemed a likelihood that they're partnering with for a German game.
That makes so much more sense because aren't there more NFL fans in Germany than there are in England?
Yeah, Germany even has a league actually.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously not NFL standard, but like it is. I think it is just more popular in general in Germany as well.
I mean, I think that's going to be. I mean, I think the London game has been a success for the NFL. I mean, it seems it's like always a constant sellout. Like it seems like people are always interested in going to that game when it's there. But I think the German game especially will be a real big hit.
And
yeah, I agree.
The stands is kind of funny. I guess I was talking about it earlier with like a lot of Chiefs fans at the Washington game, but like just a rainbow of jerseys at the in the England game. It's kind of funny to see.
I think it's cool. Yeah, I love it. Just kind of seeing every jersey imaginable.
I agree.
People just want to go watch football.
I thought it was funny when they did the Mexico City games.
Oh, those were always exciting.
Damn, yeah, how long ago was that?
That was like 15 years ago, it had to be.
No, that was way more. I only think that got stopped because of COVID. I think they did that as recently as like 20.
Oh, I thought you meant the first one.
Oh, no, I thought like you meant when it was last played.
Oh, wait. Oh, I was wrong. Oh, because of regular season. Yeah, no, they've been doing Mexico City regular season. Yeah, they have been. Wow.
International sport. I guess the other thing I want to touch upon is they had the international combine.
So they've been doing that, yeah.
Off the top of my head, do you know any of the players in the NFL currently that have are playing now?
I think it's anyone.
Malatai.
Oh yeah.
Elada, sorry.
Okay.
He's used international program. Yeah.
And then the Vikings had that one guy, I think.
Moritz Boringer. Yeah, he was a receiver, but I think he's out of the league now. And then I remember this guy, Jared Hayne. I think he was from Australia or New Zealand. And he was a rugby
player
in the 49ers.
Yeah, they seem to kind of get – I mean, there really hasn't been, I'd say, a true star that came through, but it seems like they're at least finding some talent through their kind of international pathway programs and stuff.
Yeah, I find it interesting though, because like especially in with basketball and baseball and obviously NHL too, a lot more international in those sports. And so interesting. I guess maybe football is. I guess it's tough in the sense that it's just not.
It's purely American sport.
Yeah, it's not cultural in Europe,
but it's also like more organized, and it's such a bigger, like you need so many more players on a team. I think that's more difficult getting enough people internationally excited about it.
I mean, in fairness, baseball isn't really all that international. I mean, it is, but like it doesn't really expand beyond North America and in the Caribbean.
It's not. I mean,
other than Japan, I guess Japan and Korea, but like I guess that's international.
Out of the four major, I mean, you have like all those kind of Central American countries, and
that's true.
And then you have Asia, like Japan and South Korea.
I mean, it's a lot more international than the NFL.
In terms of roster makeup, like I'd honestly say close to like 50.
Whoa, that's a flag.
That was a forward pass, yeah. I mean, like I'd say like most rosters are like at least 40-50% like Latino.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's like a way like different demographic than the rest of like the major
NHL
sports.
NHL, most teams are like 75% either American or Canadian.
And then 25% kind of like European, yeah.
All right. Are we gonna move to the 1:00 games?
Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, good for Urban Meyer, good for Trevor Lawrence. Way to get your first NFL win.
Absolutely.
Heat off Urban. Mm-hmm. All right, so 1:00, I guess. All right, so a bunch of different games. Chiefs. We were talking about this a little bit earlier.
I guess I can mention the big shocker. I mean, the Ravens.
Oh yeah.
Played the Chargers in what I thought was going to be one of the most exciting games of the day, and instead they just kind of ran the ball all over them, played tough defense, and blew them out of the water.
I
saw that one coming.
As much as I thought the Chargers had a chance to hang in the game, I thought that if Baltimore was going to win, they were going to win pretty handily. I mean, between home field advantage, I'm going to go ahead and say that the teams that won this week, and looking at the scores, most teams won by more than 2 scores.
Yeah, it was
Those teams that won, like they were all teams that are like close to or above, like pretty much all above 500 teams, and maybe the exception of like the Chiefs and Indianapolis, I guess. I don't even know.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, they were a very good 1-win team, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So like I would say like the teams that really won, like I was thinking about it today. I was like, man, those were all teams where the only way they were going to lose was if they did not come prepared. And all those teams came prepared. They all showed that they were ready to go, and like no questions that like. And I think Baltimore is one of those teams. Like they showed no question that they were the better football team.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, it just felt like watching it. It was just like such a clash of personnel where the Ravens kept getting the ball into space and the Chargers just didn't have the speed to keep up with them.
Yeah,
Not at all. And, man, Mark Andrews looks very dominant too.
Him and Hollywood Brown are both.
I'm gonna be honest.
Looking good
for fantasy. I'm in a tough spot because I have Andrews and Darren Waller.
You can flex them, honestly. Like
I mean, that's what I've been doing. That's been my 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been hard. I mean, the thing is, they both have the same bye week.
Ooh,
so
tight.
I might be stuck. I'm either gonna have to like dump someone and just get a third tight end for the week, like a rental or something. But I mean, I wish I could have been scheduled against Heath that week, but I'll take whatever I can get. I mean, they're both very good, and yeah, that Mark Andrews though is I think it's not just him. I mean, it's the connection he has with Lamar Jackson, and then when they're using him and the type of play calling they're using for him to be like a primary target there.
Mm-hmm. And I think the other thing to take, or kind of on a different note, is they shut out the Chargers the second half, but now the Chargers, it looked like they were going to maybe be able to start peeling away in that division, which I think most of us thought would be a lot more competitive. But now brings the Chiefs back into play a little bit.
The Raiders
are still in there.
Yep.
Later. So I mean, I feel like this would have been a big statement game for the Chargers to come out, and then they just got absolutely exposed. So, I mean, once again, still a long season, but I think that would have been a big one for the Chargers there. Because, I mean, they haven't won in the next close teams 3-3, gives them a little cushion.
Definitely going to be an exciting race in that division to the end.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know if you guys watch this much, but I kind of want to touch upon the Vikings and Panthers. The Panthers, if they don't have McCaffrey, they're useless.
McCaffrey, apparently, I think he's only played 6 games in the past 3 years.
No, maybe the past 3
since 2019.
2 years. Well,
I mean, it's going to be.
He played a full year in 2019, and then he missed basically all last year.
I guess I'm missing out what since means, but that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, the Vikings offense looks real good. I don't know exactly. I mean, Thielen had 111 receptions, 126 yards. And this is a Panthers defense. I mean, I guess they get Stephon Gilmore. They won't hopefully be exposed as much. But this is like a real good defense on paper. But Vikings look pretty good on the road. I mean, Panthers had an exciting little comeback right at the end, but
yeah.
Interception.
I really don't know what to make of it. I mean, I think the Panthers are going nowhere fast without McCaffrey because their offense doesn't really look functional right now. But I don't know what to make of the Vikings. Like, what a weird season they've had.
Mm-hmm.
They're like very volatile.
I have no read on them. I really don't. It's like 1 week they'll score a bunch of points, the next they won't do shit. They look good on offense, but they still let teams hang around. So, like, I don't really understand what kind of football team this is. And they play the Cowboys they have a hell of a stretch coming up. They have Cowboys, Ravens, Chargers, Packers. So that sure will be telling.
I was gonna say ultimately though, I don't think it matters. If the Packers look like they're gonna have control in that division, which I guess that game will really tell. Like I don't see how the Vikings get into the playoffs.
Well,
We're gonna have to beat them.
I mean, damn, they have a pretty brutal. They have a lot of tough games left. But like, I was thinking about this the other day. Like, it seems like the NFC has pretty clear division leaders, and then
Yeah, that's true.
The wild card race is just kind of like whoever can get the right breaks will get in. Like, I don't know, because it seems like
it's about winning the games
you have
that you're
Packers,
supposed to
Bucks,
win.
Cowboys, Rams, and Cardinals, and those are your clear 5 best teams. And after that, it's just kind of like who's going to get wins here and there to sneak into the playoffs. I don't really know.
It's 7 teams, right?
Yeah,
or is it
7
8? 7. I mean, the Vikings are sitting in there right now, but it's like if the 49ers can go on a little run, or if the Panthers can somehow get Sam Darnold to be more consistent, or even if the Bears are in it, like it's just all this mishmash.
It really is, yeah. So I mean, hell, like even if the Vikings make no sense to me, as long as they can keep pulling kind of every other game or so, they could be right there in the playoff picture.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, they come up with a few big wins these next couple of weeks. They're definitely looking
for sure. I mean, if you get some wins here,
I want to know who has the hardest strength of schedule remaining.
I'm sure I could find that. NFL strength of schedule remaining.
Hey, kind of hopping around. We did talk about the Bears.
It's the Vikings. Speak of the devil, yeah, they play. I'm looking at the site categories.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at it.
Based on toughest opponents and easiest opponents, they still have the Rams, the Packers twice, the Ravens, Cowboys, Chargers, and apparently the Steelers. But I don't think they belong in that category.
Who knows?
But I mean, funny enough, looking at the schedule, the team with the easiest strength of schedule remaining is the Bills. So
I mean, when you play in the AFC East, you're gonna get that many cupcakes.
And you play the AFC South as a division this year, so that's what the Titans, Colts, Texans, Jags. Like, they really are gonna coast to the 1 seed.
But even then, if you look at what were the NFC teams I named? I said it's like the Vikings.
Bears, the Vikings. Panthers.
I mean, the Bears, Vikings, and Panthers are all in the top 10 for hardest strength of schedule remaining.
I mean, I'm looking in like
the only team that has a real easier time that stands out is Atlanta and San Francisco. I mean, and Atlanta is like
Saints could sneak in there. I mean, they're 3-2 right now.
Yeah, they're on the bye.
They're on bye this week, but yeah. That NFC.
Wait, was that another interception, or was that just the first one happening again?
Warrior. Yeah, there's only been one.
It's a replay. Yeah, but
I'm behind.
I feel like it's 2 very different conferences. The AFC is kind of really kind of anyone can finish anywhere, whereas the NFC has a very clear set of top teams and a pretty clear set of bottom teams, I'd say. Yeah,
I think you have. I think it's more or less. I mean, you essentially have 4 teams fighting for the last 3 spots, 2-3 spots.
Probably 2 with the Rams and the Cardinals.
Yeah.
One of those teams will have the 5 seed. Yeah.
Yeah, both of those teams absolutely dominating at the 1 o'clock slots.
Oh my god!
The Browns were later, but
we'll get to that in a moment. But yeah, the Giants game was disgusting. I don't even know why they played Daniel Jones because he didn't look into it and he had no talent around him.
I thought that was criminal. Yeah. I'm gonna look. I'm all if there's 2 organizations I love ripping. Well, 3. It's the Giants, the Cowboys, and the footballers. Now, the footballers I'm ripping for very serious reasons, and there's a laundry list of reasons. The Cowboys I'll just rip because it's Jerry Jones and I hate his old butt. But what Joe, like, first of all, Wellington, the spawn of Wellington, first of all, has this stupid rule about taunting penalties and all that because he's offended by it. But that's not even related to what I'm saying. But like, how can you do that to your quarterback? I mean, like, I literally was talking about, like, the other week how teams will put players into concussion protocol or claim that a player is cleared concussion protocol when it's clearly obvious that he hasn't. I mean, it's clearly obvious that there's no way that they should be clearing concussion protocol if they're suffering a severe enough concussion and playing a week later. And that's exactly what happened with Daniel Jones this week. And I was honestly, I felt bad for him because they're all falling apart. That whole team's falling apart.
That's the thing. Like, I don't want to speak about did they rush him through the protocol. I don't know. I can't make that assessment, fair. But he looked shaky. But the thing is, like, the team around him is falling apart and you have no talent. So why are you throwing at him? Like, why are you throwing him out there a week after a concussion, even if he is fully healed? Because that's just not a winnable situation.
I have a bet. If that game was on the road, they wouldn't have played him.
Yep, that's exactly what I was going to say. I mean, right. Fans would have been so mad. I mean, no Saquon, no Daniel.
I mean, would I pay to see Mike Glennon? Yeah, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, that was just a disgusting game, top to bottom. It wasn't even close.
The Rams looked real good.
They looked great. They really.
Anyone would look good against that team, though.
Yeah, it was.
I think the Rams have looked good all season, minus that one game.
But hey, look, that's what I was saying, though. The teams that won like that were teams that came prepared. They knew what they had to do and they executed it. And that, like, I know that's cliche, but that doesn't always happen in football. You get teams that, like, play down to another team's level, or you get teams that just didn't, like, are lackadaisical and they didn't let that happen.
Certainly wasn't the case in this one. I'm just looking at these scores. I mean, the average margin of victory, like 20 points. I mean, the Colts win by 28. Chiefs win by
Dawson Knox touchdown up, holding though.
Holding, tough. Chiefs blow the football team out. Bengals blow the Lions out. Rams blow the Giants out. Just Ravens blow it. Just a pretty clear display of superiority in this 1 o'clock window.
And the other thing,
close game was that Vikings-Packers one and Vikings-Panthers one and kind of the Packers-Bears game.
I mean, the thing, though, about these two is that they're all continuing just storylines that we all know are, apart from, I guess, Jacksonville. But these are all storylines that we know to be obvious. Like Houston, Indy, it's like, yeah, we know what Houston is. And Indy's like an okay team, and that's what's going to happen when you have an okay team playing a team with absolutely no quarterback.
They did have the same record, though.
They did have the same record going into that. Yeah,
they did. But like I know that like some people are of the philosophy that you are what your record is. But if we look at the teams the Colts lost to, I mean, they lost to the Ravens, they lost to the Rams, and they only lost to the Rams by 3 points.
Lost to the Titans, lost to the Seahawks,
and they only lost to the Ravens by a touchdown.
Yeah. They had them beat. I mean, Lamar played one of the best games I've ever seen in order to win that game. Yeah.
So, like, I'm just saying, even though you are and hey, the Colts are second in the AFC South.
What a shit division. That's this year's NFC East. I think the winner of that division is going to finish like 9-8.
I don't think the Colts are that bad of a team, though.
They have such a tough. Well, I don't know. Maybe they just got lucky in all their hard games. Unlucky in all their hard games are stacked at the beginning of their year. But I mean,
yeah. But let's be honest. The Cowboys are
themselves out of a pretty big hole to get back on top of that division.
The Cowboys are 2 bounces away from being a 3-2 team. I mean, we do know that. But I don't even want to focus on that because you are what your record is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we could also talk about that Thursday night game. The Eagles.
No, I'm good.
I didn't watch it single. I'm good. Busy at a wedding.
I'm good. I don't need to talk about the Eagles.
I have no comments on that one. Sorry.
What about the What about the Cincinnati Bengals visiting the Lions? I think I was talking to Jack before this game, and I was telling him, I was like, I feel like the Lions maybe a lot of heart after the emotional claims from Dan Campbell last week. Maybe they come out here and
Oh, well, I remember your exact words.
but
You said they were going to be two of the most emotional football teams on the field this Sunday
because the Bengals
because of the Bengals loss.
Or
And one of those teams was going to successfully come out and clobber the other. And you know what? It was the team that is the actual better team on paper, and the team that's the and that's what happens. I mean, they came out there and they just kept their head going. I mean, they kept I hope Greg Schiano doesn't copyright strike this video for me saying they kept chopping. They really did keep chopping. Like they didn't let that I mean, that's a look, as much as you want to win that Packers game, and I said it would be a coming out party for them, but that shows a lot of resilience. And sometimes teams lose a game like that and then go into a shell. But I mean, props to them for not.
Yeah, they just look good. Like very explosive offensively, making big plays.
And the defense is a lot better than it was last year.
They honestly just might be a good team. All things like defense is playing better, and I mean, yeah, just a lot of explosive potential on offense. They have a big game against the Ravens this week, I believe.
Yeah, that game, and then I think
telling.
And I think 3 weeks from now they play the Browns, and like that division, I think of all the divisions is like, I'm not going to say the most competitive, but it's one of those divisions where you're always measuring yourselves up next to the other people there.
For sure.
Like even when you're bad, like when the Bengals and Browns were both bad, they could measure up next to each other and say, well, who's worse? Or when the Steelers and Ravens are at their best, they could measure up next to each other and say who's better. And now they're all kind of in a middling position. And you could now, like a few weeks ago, we were saying, oh, it looks like the Browns, it's either going to be the Browns or the Ravens. But I mean, the Bengals are making a case for themselves. And I mean, the Steelers are on the outside looking in, but there's,
same record as the Browns right now. Don't kill us yet.
There's that's what I'm saying. They're on the outside looking in, but I mean, who knows? I mean, there's really a lot of football left and anything could happen.
Yeah. Although I wouldn't be surprised if the Ravens start pulling away. And even though I didn't really believe in them at the beginning of the year, I think the way Lamar is playing, particularly, they're kind of hit a new stride. Because I mean, the Browns are dealing with so many injuries right now. I mean, Chubb is banged up. You just lost Hunt for a few weeks. You're down a bunch of corners again. Baker's playing with a separated shoulder. And now they play on Thursday night, so now they got to go short week to Denver, which is just probably the worst case scenario, just in terms of like timing and travel.
Yeah, they need to win bad.
Yeah. So if they drop that game, they're in a lot of trouble, and it's just like if they don't get healthy soon. I mean, I already think Baltimore has them in the rearview mirror, but the Bengals could maybe establish a lead on them too.
I mean, for both those teams, though, looking at it, this is kind of their season. I mean, if Denver loses this game, it's 4 straight, and then we could finally, I think, close the door on saying that they are a for real team. I mean, we could shut that down. But if they somehow win that game, then they're still knocking. I mean, they're still kicking around. And then Cleveland, it's like, all right, well, I just think Cleveland's at a disadvantage because Baker is nowhere near 100%.
Yeah, they're in a lot of trouble. And I mean, they have a big division game coming up against the Steelers in a couple of weeks, and the Steelers are coming off a bye. Granted, the Steelers aren't all that good. But depending on how holy shit, there he goes. Sorry. Derrick Henry just broke off a touchdown.
I didn't even see it yet.
Yeah,
I'm still at commercial.
Right now.
That's one leg of my bet. I just need the Stephon Diggs touchdown now. Alrighty. But yeah, as I was saying, yeah, the Steelers are coming off a bye, and yeah, granted, not that great. But if the Browns are still struggling health-wise, and if his shoulder gets re-aggravated again in this Denver game, that's going to be tough sledding for them, I think.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I feel like Baker's still not. He's not doing too bad. Like
He's
with
doing what he can. Like
what did they get? How many sacks did they get this game? Was it like 8 or something?
it was a lot. JJ Watt was
Yeah, that was
up in
unfair.
Baker's face all game.
And
It
that was
wasn't pretty.
Daniel Jones too.
But yeah, they just gotta hope. They're playing with fires. I mean, like the shoulder's clearly not 100%. If he takes the wrong hit, then long-term injury, not great. So you just gotta hope you can kind of keep him upright and keep him out of harm's way with kind of maybe some rollouts and kind of play designs to keep him moving away from the pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
But
we'll
I guess
have to see, obviously, but
we could kind of stay in that 4 o'clock window. I mean, yeah, the Browns game was a mess. They just kind of racked up a bunch of injuries, and even though the Cardinals had no coaching staff, seems like they had the right game plan because they were moving the ball
prepared, and they were prepared
pretty effectively the whole game.
the other
really,
thing, too, I feel like the Browns, they went for it on like 4th and 1, and they kept failing too.
yeah, poor execution.
A lot of penalties. That's
Wait,
what order. So many penalties.
Before we move on from that game and the other AFC, whatever conference that is, I don't even know. Our division, I always get it mixed up. Is it the North? Yeah.
North, yeah.
I want to give a shout. I have a number of shout outs this week. I have, I guess, 3. I have 3 shout outs, and I'm going to give my first one right now. Shout out to Trey Hendrickson of the Bengals, defensive end, real talent. He got a sack last week. That brings him on the season to a full-on 4.5 sacks in, I guess, 6 games. I think he's showing himself up as a leader on that defense. I think he's going to keep making a mess, and excited to see what he does the rest of the season.
Good shout. Good player. Yeah, he impressed me when the Bengals played us.
Yeah, I mean, last year, what do you have last year in sacks? He had
he was on the Saints last year.
Double digits. I mean, yeah. It was a big money signing by the Bengals after letting Carl Lawson go. And so far, paying dividends. He's been really good for them.
He had 13.5 sacks last year. So, yeah, he was, yeah.
Doesn't seem like that was a fluke either. Yeah. I guess I'll briefly mention the Raiders-Broncos game. I mean, I didn't know what to expect from the Raiders given kind of what transpired the last week. How are they going to do with kind of their head coach gone? But they came to play. They rallied around their interim coach and kind of got out to a big lead against Denver and sat on it. Denver, after starting the season 3-0, is now 3-3. And they're going, if they drop this Browns game this week, they're probably out of the division race completely.
Second shout out of the week to Rich Bisaccia. I mean,
yeah,
I feel like the NFL more than any other sport. I feel like the week after a coach gets fired or whatever happened in this case, resigned, I guess is the proper nomenclature, the team will always show up. I think NFL players have a lot of pride. I think that you can find that in any sport, but I think that they always like, the big one that comes to my mind is I think that Romeo Crennel came in for the Chiefs.
Oh yeah,
and he won that game.
They beat the Packers. I remember that.
I think of like moments like that where you get a guy, because I feel like usually when the interim coach is always someone that's like knows the team. They have a pulse on the team because they're usually in a position that covers the whole team. I mean, that's kind of obviously how it works. You're not going to put a coordinator. You're not usually going to put a coordinator in there. So I just think, great stuff out of the Raiders. I think that shows that they're still a true team to be considered in that division. Granted, they didn't beat a great team, but you need that sometimes. I mean, you got to get after what happened. Yeah, it's a division win, and you got to keep that ball rolling. And if you can do that by any means, then go ahead and do it. Who do the Raiders have next week?
They might be on bye.
Yeah, that's right. Or no, I thought they're on bye week 8. Yeah,
They
they play the Eagles.
Eagles. Okay, then yeah, they're
Oh
on bye
boy.
next week. Following. But yeah, they came to play. It was an important win. They're 4-2, and since the Chargers lost, that puts them back tied with them. Although the Chargers have the head-to-head. But yeah, in a division that seems like it might be a 3-team race instead of just the Chiefs running away with it. That's you got to keep racking up wins where you can get it, and they did it, and they kind of took down the previously 3-2 Broncos to do so.
When do the Raiders play the Oh, they have a Sunday night game against the Chiefs.
They had the Chiefs number too. That
They beat them last year, and then they almost had them the second time.
And then they
the Chiefs
finish
went
out the season at
insane.
home against the Chargers.
Yeah, yeah, I think it was just a good response game. I mean, yeah, considering you lose your coach and you come off a bad loss to the Bears, just credit where credit is due. They needed that win and they got it.
I mean, what were the Broncos' first 3 weeks were
I don't remember the
Giants,
order, but it was
Jacksonville and
Giants,
Jets.
Jaguars. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
that's 3 of the 5 worst teams in the league right there.
yeah, probably.
hey, don't leave the Lions. Oh, you said 3 of the 5. Okay, yeah.
Oh, well, one thing I do want to bring up, Jack, I know you don't want to talk about the Eagles loss, but I think as of right now, or I think before yesterday, they had 3 top 10 picks.
Yeah, no, they do. That's the one thing I will talk about with the Eagles. And I know a lot of people, some people are saying that like Jalen Hurts isn't it. I would say relax. I'm not on that team yet. I'm not rushing to that yet. I think if anything, Nick Sirianni might not be it. I mean, the underutilization of the run game, they have a good defense. I will say they have a great defense.
Their O-line
But
always hurts. Another big issue.
yeah, I think that's another big issue.
I don't
But
know.
I mean,
Year.
I think that, and I think I don't really see too much of an issue with Jalen Hurts. He's a young QB. I usually give the first year as like a bit of a discount. Like, guess what? He's a young guy. He's got to learn. I told this to Benton too. The one thing I hate is this notion that you can have a first-year head coach and a first-year quarterback and make it work. I don't know how you can possibly make that work if you have a coach I feel like if I was running an NFL team, I would not want that. I just feel like I want to have someone that's been there. I don't need people having a feeling out process for it. Granted, I feel like, sometimes if you want to be a trailblazer and have, run with reckless abandon and just do what you got to do, then fine. Don't have a first-year head coach, the first-year quarterback, but I think that's just too much navigating uncharted waters.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. And I don't know. We'll see. I mean, obviously, a young team. Well, some young positions there, very important for the team.
Yeah,
they stay in their games.
That's true.
If they do end up with those 3 top 10 picks, I mean,
they got to get O-linemen.
In a year that doesn't have a great quarterback process, maybe it's best to just use all 3 to kind of go maybe O-line, get a star O-lineman.
I don't think they need any marquee position players. I feel like, I feel like they have good wide receivers. I feel like they have Miles Sanders is a good running back. I
mean, it's what I was saying. It's just not the worst idea to maybe stick with Hurts and just kind of use all that capital, invest around him. And if it doesn't work,
you could trade him.
You've built up a better team. You could trade Hurts, maybe see if you find a new guy who fits better. Who knows? But yeah, I don't think Hurts has been outstanding, but I don't really think he's been the problem either.
I would say Sirianni's more of the problem than him.
I'm to believe, kind of agree with you on that. And the last 4:00 game of the window was the big one, the Cowboys and Patriots shootout. I'm sure you guys had your eyes on that one.
I honestly didn't. I'll be honest. I had Denver at -4.5. And I thought like that was my big eyes. I really wanted to see how they would do. But I watched the end of that game. I watched the last like 10 minutes of the game.
I mean, in terms of it, like obviously the ending was crazy, but it was a good game start to finish. I don't think there's a more exciting game than this one.
No.
Just big plays and kind of the lead kept
catch on the
changing.
day, 75-yard touchdown.
Yeah, just I mean, whatever you throw a pick six that looks backbreaking, and then you burn the guy up for a 75-yard touchdown the next play. Just
we get the same guy too, nonetheless.
Yeah,
I
just
really like
crazy.
that play a lot.
Trayvon Diggs.
I mean, what a fun game that was to end. I mean, the Cowboys were able to storm back into field goal position, send it to overtime.
My man CD getting it done.
They get a stop and then go down the field and put the game away. Just really exciting. And I mean, big win for the Cowboys. I think that brings them to like 5-1 now. They're clear of the rest of the division.
I think what they're doing now is a testament to how bad Jason Garrett was as a coach.
Yeah. And I mean, granted, McCarthy's a flawed coach too, but like at least
they're winning games.
letting his stars be stars, I guess.
Exactly. He's using his best players the way that they should have been used previously. At least compared to Exactly.
No, I agree completely. And I mean, if you're a Patriots fan, like that's a tough pill to swallow because that could have been a big kind of signature win for you.
And they've had 2 games. They've had numerous games. Same thing. Bounce of the ball, and they could have 2 more wins.
But I mean,
Mac Jones. I think that's the obvious.
That was kind of what they were waiting for. Like him to finally kind of step up and make the big plays like that. And yeah, I mean, again, it didn't end in a win, but like he played so well. Oh, it's like Diggs. Let's go.
I mean, the one Diggs get a touchdown.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be Allen yardage. That's gonna be the tough one. He's at like 100. He needs 300.
Wait, did he? I'm far behind. They just showed the player getting off the field. He was injured. 1st and 10. Allen drops back to pass to Singletary.
I mean, the one thing I will say,
for Sanders,
Cowboys had over 80 offensive plays compared to the Patriots that only had 48.
Mm-hmm.
So the Patriots defense, I think obviously Taxel threw for about 450. But like Stephon Gilmore there would obviously help a lot. But I mean, this Patriots defense has a lot of depth, in my opinion. They got a lot of players that come up and they'll make their plays.
Yep.
And I mean, obviously that's tough to be out there for 80 plays a game. But I mean, Jawan Bentley coming up big with 12 solo tackles.
Yeah.
Kyle
that goal line forced fumble
this year
was unbelievable. Yeah, I was just really I came away impressed by both teams, honestly. And I thought that was going to be kind of a Cowboys handle business type game, but it'll be interesting to see if the Patriots kind of use that as momentum. They get to play the Jets this week. So that's a good game to.
I mean, a game like that,
bounce back win.
A game like that, when I think about it, like, they had Nelson Aguilar drop 2 passes in that game, and some of them were pretty brutal.
There was that one. It was like a big 3rd down, I think, and that felt like a backbreaker.
Yeah, so like, I feel like if you're losing games by that much and you have certain players that you're trusting to not make those plays, then look, like, you just got to you got to have a guy step up, or you got to get a guy next season. But like, I think this could be a quick rebuild for them. Like, I know some teams have a dynasty and it may take years for them to recover. I mean, granted, they have a lot of competition against the Bills that they're going to have to meet, but I think that they're up for it. And I don't know how long Bill Belichick is going to be involved in that. Isn't he trying to take the approach of like, once I get the quarterback and I'm going to walk away, like there's nothing left.
I mean, who knows? He's always deceptive, but the only thing that worries me is they spent way too much money on these wide receivers in the offseason, and you take away Jacoby Myers, they had 2 wide receiver catches.
I mean, Aguilar has been a bust, and Jonnu Smith also kind of been a bust so far. I mean, Hunter Henry looks good, so at least that
Yeah.
looks like money well spent. But for sure, you're considering the investment they put into that offensive weaponry. They're not getting the returns they needed.
No, not at all.
Mm-mm.
It looks terrible. And I mean, the other thing too is Belichick can't draft early or like they never draft anyone that great early on. It's always they find these like late round steals, like last year, Michael Onwenu, big steal. I think people would have agree with me there. But like, I mean, we'll have to see. I mean, and they got an old roster too. Like that defense, a lot of good players, but a lot of older players as well. Like Cordy's been there for a long time. Donta
I mean,
Hightower, Lawrence Guy. I mean, a lot of these guys are older players. Jamie Collins, getting him. So I mean, we'll have to see.
my thing. Sorry,
Oh,
what were you gonna say?
N'Keal Harry. Oh my God, so bad. I mean, huge, big time bust there. I will have to see. I mean, they get their players to play their best. They get the most out of them, but I think definitely Jones can't be got to be happy with his play.
My thing also is that, like, you talked about the draft. I think that's a big thing that you mentioned is like draft position. Bill Belichick is not the guy who's going to say, let's take our foot off the pedal and try to get a bit of a higher draft position. He's not that guy. I'm not that guy. Like, I think this team's going to try and be competitive all year. They probably have it in their heads, like, we can beat the Jets as much as we want. Don't they only play the Jets one more time?
Well, it should be 2 games total at least.
Yeah, they already played in week 2 or something
Okay.
like that.
Yeah,
so that'll be both games.
Yeah, and then they only have the Dolphins one more time for sure because they had a loss against the Dolphins.
Week 1,
And so like that to me, it's like, okay,
Holy
like
shit.
they're gonna want those, but yeah, I don't see
No
them.
way. If that holds up, no way.
I don't know
It's
what you guys are talking about, so
PI.
I'm about to. Let me see. What?
It's,
How much time is left on
Third
your?
down play, and there's 6:52 left.
6:52.
Holy shit! I'm only on 1st and 10. This is so stupid. It's completely pointless almost for me to watch this game.
Well, I thought it was so funny when you were like in Philly during the game and you were behind us.
Well, because I don't have a TV. I don't have cable.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
I don't
watching
have cable either.
I'm always going to be. I'm always.
Oh, what are you
in
watching
front.
on?
I'm watching off a Fire Stick.
Oh, now I got it.
What's the call? That was
The refs are about to call it. How much time is left in yours now?
Well, I mean, they're still discussing of.
Okay, yeah, they're about to announce it on mine too.
Mike Vrabel, football guy.
Big football guy. Offsides, defense, PI defense. Okay.
What are the Titans?
Oh, they ruled a catch? No, I don't know. Is it a?
They're still talking on mine. Holy shit!
Wait, is that 3 penalties?
No, they're
2.
I don't know actually 2. Wait, that was out of bounds.
Didn't the Cowboys have 150 yards of penalties?
And
that is a catch.
That was so close. I have no idea.
I mean,
That was a stat that stood out to me.
there's a
I
PI
didn't
anyhow.
got that.
They gave it. Yeah, I don't know. Interesting.
He's cheesing.
I think he did.
Yeah, I think they gave it to him at least.
One.
Sound on or catch.
Yeah, he got it.
That's sick.
All right, I'm gonna quickly give my 3rd NFL shout out of the week.
All right.
This is going out to David Baker announcing his retirement from the
Yep.
NFL Hall of Fame.
Congratulations.
I think
to him.
I got to give props. I'm a big history guy. I think he's given a lot of visibility to the Hall of Fame
Oh, for sure.
as a learning tool for the game. I visited the Hall of Fame for the first time during his tenure. And I would say I've seen the Baseball Hall of Fame, the Hockey Hall of Fame, and the Football Hall of Fame. And I can't really even decide which one's my favorite. I think all 3 of them are well done. But the NFL Hall of Fame was pretty cool. Like I think it's great. And
they marketed it really well.
And his love for the Hall of Fame is awesome.
They do a great job marketing it. I think him especially. I mean, the way how big the ceremony has gotten over the past years, like I think they really do a good job with that.
I also just think it's dope that it's in Northeastern Ohio.
What a random spot.
No, it's not. It's where the first pro team was.
I mean, yeah, I know why, but if you gave a foreigner a map and said this is where the Pro Football Hall of Fame is, they'd be pretty confused.
Where would you put it then?
I don't
Texas.
know. New York City.
I'm pretty sure Ohio. I thought Ohio had like one of the highest amount of like per capita NFL players.
Maybe.
I mean, it's a good recruiting. Like I know through college recruiting, like it's pretty good recruiting ground.
I mean, Cleveland
Ohio rakes up, but
there are 6 NFL players from apparently. So high schools with the most NFL players. Glenville High School in Cleveland is number 6 in the country, or number 4 in the country.
All time or like?
Yeah, I think this is all time.
All right.
Because unless maybe not all time. Well, I think all time because like they have Ted Ginn Jr. Is he still in the NFL?
No, I think he just retired this offseason.
That might be why. Number 1 though is St. Thomas Aquinas in Fort Lauderdale.
That's
which makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, they pump out talent like nothing.
Yeah. Oh, but by state, yeah, Ohio has 1 NFL player per 140,000 people. I mean, to be fair, Louisiana has 1 NFL player per 76,000 people.
Wow.
But yeah, NFL Hall of Fame, great. David Baker, also great. His enthusiasm for it. There's only one other dude I can think of, and that's the guy who handles the Stanley Cup. That guy loves that job the same way that David Baker loves that job.
I'm just going to be sad that the face of the Hall of Fame isn't 6'9", 400 pounds anymore.
Oh, yeah.
It was so fitting. It was so fitting for football. I loved it.
That's why I give him my shout out.
Yeah. Alrighty. So I guess the last completed game of the weekend, the Monday night thriller between the Steelers and the Seahawks. I know Benton said he stayed up and watched that. I also stayed up and watched that. I regret staying up and watching that.
Yeah, I'm glad. Look, I woke up this morning. I wake up at 5:20 in the morning. The moment I saw the words Geno Smith, I said, I'm going to bed. There's no reason for me to torture myself thinking that a game with Geno Smith is going to be that. Geno Smith and a half decaying Ben Roethlisberger is going to grab my attention.
I don't think Geno played bad. I mean, he didn't do a whole lot. I mean, it was a pretty typical backup quarterback performance game. The thing I was not expecting was Alex Collins to turn into Marshawn Lynch in the second half.
I actually almost expected that.
I don't know what happened.
Was that a pick?
Yeah, it was a pick. The Seahawks figured something out, and the Steelers had no idea what hit them. And thank God for T.J. Watt being Jesus reincarnated, because that overtime period was a mess and a half before he kind of shut down that first drive and then got the big forced fumble to set up the game-winning field goal.
Yeah, I mean, looking at stats, Geno Smith outplayed Big Ben, in my opinion.
Big Ben didn't throw. He
did 40 attempts.
Yeah, he threw the ball 40 times and had 200 yards, I think.
Geno had a slightly better. Okay, so Geno had a better rating, but a worse QBR. Huh.
That's just how the metrics work.
Other than that weird pump fake fumble, I think Ben, and I guess you could also say Jamal and him headshotting Jamal Adams with that throw. I think he avoided
best in the nation, Jamal Adams.
The best in the nation, baby.
62 rank.
I think Ben avoided mistakes, but he didn't really make any big plays either. I mean, after the first half, I thought it was just going to be like a
he's down
on the lead. I don't know. It looks like a Taylor Lewan, maybe.
I don't want to. I don't want to take attention away from. I don't want to give attention to Jamal Adams, but doesn't he have 0 sacks and 0 interceptions this year?
Yeah, he had 8 sacks last year, but apparently he's not hitting home this year for whatever. Because they were sending him on a blitzes all night. I mean, obviously the Steelers, their prerogative is to throw the ball as quick as possible, so it's kind of hard to get home there. But yeah,
He had a tackle for loss.
What he's paid and what they cost him, he's
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But no, after the first half, I thought it was just going to be the Steelers play conservative football and play defense and win the game. But the Seahawks running game caught fire, and the Steelers had no idea what hit them. Just a great game of high level football for sure.
In poor Deontay Johnson, I think after last year dropping so many passes, he finally had his first drop this year.
He's been so good this year. I felt so bad because everyone was like, "Oh, there's Deontay Johnson's drops again."
That was one thing I read this morning about the game.
A mental thing too now for him. I feel like
he was doing so. I mean, he's been great all year, so hopefully that was just a kind of a lapse, but we'll see.
The one other thing, shout out the Steelers punter. He's a beast.
He is. I hear
far.
He had that one kind of
Presley Harvin
shanked punt that looked like
he punted far.
Is that Presley Harvin?
Yeah, Presley Harvin. But he was bomb. And then the one in the overtime period right before the strip sack, like he kicked that from like the 30 to the 15 with no return. Like that.
Yeah, he's got a cannon.
That was a critical play.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. There's like two people stood out for me on the Steelers: Presley Harvin and T.J. Watt.
I mean, that was those two players won it in overtime, basically. And I mean, Chris Boswell hit a big 50-yarder right before overtime.
He's a Ray Guy Award winner, so I don't think we should be expecting anything less.
He's very good. Yeah, even I remember when Pitt played Georgia Tech last year. He just was kicking nukes down the field. I'm like, what the hell? I've never seen anything like this.
Real quick, I want to fit these two stats in the midst of all of this. First of all, going all the way back to the Giants game, something I mentioned off air, but that made it even more appalling. I think they had Daniel Jones throw 51 pass attempts.
Mm-hmm. I don't understand. Everything about that game was a disaster for the Giants, and I mean, you're playing for. It's obviously they got into a big lead, so they're just throwing to try to get back in the game. But
the other thing is I was looking at David Baker's Wikipedia page. Something I did not know. He was the commissioner of the Arena Football League from 1996 to 2008.
Oh man, Luan's on the stretcher.
Yeah, that was bad injury shit.
I'm far behind. Oh, there we go.
Just like last night, the one. Thankfully, it seems like he was all good, but
yeah, that was a long break.
That's two scary injuries right there.
Yeah, that's tough, and that's that's going to bring up some questions about Henry.
It definitely doesn't help, I would say. But Henry inside of the 5, I think you're still giving it to him.
Shit. This is a good game script to get Allen a lot of passing yards. But
what was Henry's over under on yards?
I didn't see Henry. I didn't bet it.
Yeah, I saw Jersey Jerry from Barstool was talking about a vision he had in his sleep, and he said that he predicted that Henry would hit the over on yards, and I think he said it was like 98.
Yeah, something around that. Dude, why can't I get any of these visions?
He said he saw his four like what type of dog was it?
Not a Shiba Inu, right?
No. It's a not a.
Wait, what?
It's
happened?
like It's a French bulldog. His 4 French bulldogs. He's like, yeah, I was on a plane with my 4 French bulldogs and they were hungry. And he said 2 + 2 = 4, and number 22. Henry.
Oh, Tannehill keeping it. Tannehill getting elusive out there. Touchdown.
Oh, come on. I called that. You saw me call it. I said Tannehill with a rush touchdown today.
He was a receiver. He was a receiver in college. He's an athlete.
Who were the other quarterbacks the year Tannehill was drafted? Was it like Christian Ponder, Blake Bortles?
No. He was 2011. It might have been Cam Newton.
That also reminds me of another really insane stat that I remembered.
He was drafted in 2012.
This
was Andrew Luck and RG3.
Oh my goodness.
Tannehill went 8, and then the next quarterback drafted was the
Brandon Weeden.
Yep, 28-year-old Brandon Weeden to the Cleveland Browns. Yeah.
Just by the way, this was another stat I remembered with last night's game. I think Geno Smith passed. I think he passed Mike Glennon for most. I think it was Matt Glennon for most yards thrown by a QB in the 2013 draft.
I think I saw that too. Yeah,
that was the year of like Eric Fisher, number 1 overall, right?
Yeah, the first quarterback drafted was EJ Manuel.
What a horrible draft year! I feel
very
like
bad draft. Yeah, it's not good at all.
Lane Johnson, 4 overall.
Yeah, he was honestly the only good. I think he was really the only good top 10 pick in that whole draft. Like it was just Ziggy Ansah was good.
D.
For like
Milner.
D. Milner was a bust. It's just.
There's a
few good picks at the end of the first round, but that top 10 is like infamously bad.
Travis Frederick, Cordell Patterson, DeAndre Hopkins, Xavier Rhodes,
Steelers
Tyler
got Bell
Eifert,
in that draft.
Darius
Too
Slay.
bad they drafted Jarvis Jones,
Le'Veon Bell.
Round. Yeah, I like to believe that the Steelers drafted Bell round 1 and
Tyrann Mathieu
Jones round 2.
Honey Badger was
Kyle
a late
right? Kyle Juszczyk. Micah Hyde.
No,
Honey Badger was like kicked off the team at that part. Like it was just kind of like I don't think he played football in a year before he got drafted.
The Honey Badger?
Yeah, just he got kicked off LSU.
Rex Burkhead.
But the one thing I did want to mention is I don't know how much of the Ravens Chargers game you guys saw, but Patrick Ricard was like big difference maker in that game. And I think it's kind of interesting to see because like the fullback is, I don't want to say dying position, but it's definitely not as popular as I think it once was.
Mm-hmm.
Frank O'Hare. For sure.
But Ricard, he's just like another lineman out there. It's insane. And against a really weak
if there's one thing I've known since I've watched football, there's one thing I know, and since I watch football, it's the Ravens know how to use fullbacks. Vonta Leach, Kyle Juszczyk, and Patrick Ricard, like they churn them out and they know how to use them. It's impressive.
That must be Harbaugh.
Yeah, it amazes me that they know how to maximize such a dying position like that.
I mean, it's almost like he's huge. He plays play D tackle every once in a while too.
I think he was tackle in college, and they just converted him. Yeah,
it's usually how it is.
He's a big boy. Like that.
It's kind of nuts, but dominant week from the Watt brothers, I guess, to say the least. Also,
a real turn back the clock game for JJ, and a real. This is why you paid me the big bucks game for TJ.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alrighty. Before we hit halftime, I'm gonna run through predictions for the upcoming week.
Sure, I can pull it up.
Yeah, I'm gonna find my predictions from last week. See how I did a week.
I don't know. I don't like keep track of my predictions.
I write them down just so I can check. Damn, I tried to guess the Bears over the Packers. That didn't work. I got the Jaguar. I picked the Jaguars. I did. So I'm pretty happy about that one.
Hey, that's a good pick.
6-3, 6-4, 7-4, 7-5. I am 8-5 with the Bills to play, and I think there was only 14 games this week, so 9-5, not that bad if the Bills win.
Well, they're down now.
They are down now, yeah.
That was a big third down play. All right, you want me to give you the games for the week?
Go for it.
All right, starting off, we got on Thursday night Browns at home against the Broncos. Anyone against the Browns in this one?
Oh, that's actually in Cleveland. I thought that was in Denver.
No, it's in Cleveland.
Oh, okay. That changes my opinion. I thought they had to go to Denver on the short week. It's a must-win game for Cleveland. I think even as banged up as they are, I think they absolutely need this one. I think it'll depend a lot on if Nick Chubb is back, because obviously Kareem Hunt's going to be out. But for the team that everyone talked up as the most talented team in the league, they're going to have to show it.
Man, you really hate that they earned that moniker.
Oh God, this offseason was insufferable.
Jeez, don't blame you.
I'll take the Browns though.
Yeah, I'm going Browns.
Yeah, I don't see any reason for Denver winning that game.
All right, next up we got Chiefs visiting the Tennessee Titans.
The Titans are playing better than I thought they would tonight.
Two offensive powerhouses with, I would say, a weaker.
Well, they just lost Lewin.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I feel like Washington obviously not a great offense, but I just feel like the Chiefs defense is not that great.
How did Derrick Henry do last time they played?
I'm going Titans at home. I think I'll take the Titans.
I'm gonna be conservative and pick the Chiefs. But in 2 games played, Derrick Henry has 250 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns against the Chiefs. So, and I think their run defense is even worse this year. So that'll be something to watch for.
I think also their pass defense just is not. It's like, weren't they? I think this week the best or funny stat was, I think Washington had the worst pass defense, and the Chiefs had the second worst pass defense.
Yeah, it's their defense is not very good right now. That might be a problem come playoff time.
Yeah, I'm not going to be afraid to take Tennessee in this game. I think that, first of all, the Chiefs are 2 games on the road now. They look good against Washington, but that's Washington. I think Tennessee, part of it really banks on what Tennessee can do in the rest of this game. If they can defend home field against the Bills, then I feel like they'll have the confidence to defend home field against the Chiefs, who have shown themselves to not be nearly as complete as the Bills have been this year. Mm-hmm. So I'm willing to take the Titans. I'm willing to be that.
I guess I'll go against you guys then.
Got Washington visiting Green Bay. I think this is probably
that should be a Green Bay massacre.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right now, I think Green Bay is opening up as 9.5-point favorites.
No.
Oh boy.
Yep.
All right. Well, next we got Bengals visiting the Ravens.
That's going to be a great game.
That's going to be. That's going to be really exciting. Although I did say that against Chargers Ravens, so maybe I'm jumping the gun a bit. The Ravens are playing really good ball right now. It's hard to bet against them. I would like to see the Bengals win, and I think they'll be competitive, but I don't think I could pick against Baltimore the way they're playing currently.
I think Baltimore with a 3-0 home record against the team that, they're a good team, but the other thing that's hard for me in the NFL when I think about it, it's like, coming off of a win against a winless team and then going up against one of the best teams in the conferences, quite a disparity. I think that the Ravens are just going to be too much for them to handle.
I'm actually, I'm going to be a Burrow believer. I think you both were talking about the Ravens looking phenomenal. I do not think they look great until the end of the game, obviously against the Colts, and that was against a
I mean,
Colts defense that literally had nothing to show in the
I
second.
mean, yeah. Early in our streams, I said the Ravens were kind of skirting by and unimpressed me in wins, but it seems since the second half of that Colts game, they look like an unstoppable force right now.
Yeah, but
I think also the Bengals. I mean, Burrow, I guess, didn't have a great game against Packers, but I mean, they've been balling out. They got weapons all around the field. I don't know. I think the Bengals could pull away.
my big thing though is that Baltimore was able to stymie the front, the LA line, and against one of the Bosa brothers, that's a pretty solid deal. I would say that's a pretty good accomplishment. I think they'll be able to handle Trey Hendrickson and the Bengals D line. I just think that Baltimore really is showing them. I mean, if the Bengals win this game, then there's no doubt that they're a contender in that division. Then they need to be taken
No.
seriously. But I mean, this is a test game. If the Ravens win this game, I would say it's going to be very hard for anyone to really catch up to them in that division.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be a good game nonetheless.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys think differently, but
I think it'll be a good game. I think it will answer a lot of questions.
Yeah. Next, we got Panthers visiting the Giants.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's
because the Giants look so bad.
I like how Sam Darnold has 6 touchdowns and 6 interceptions, and Daniel Jones has 4 touchdowns and 4 interceptions.
Since I have no possible idea what the Giants injury list is going to look like, I think I have to go with the Panthers in the meantime.
Yeah.
Giants are, if I'm going to take a team that's 3-0 at home to win, I'm going to take a team that's 0-3 at home to lose. Granted, those streaks eventually have to end, but the Giants are just a mess. And, the Panthers aren't a great team, but they aren't a cupcake. I take the Panthers.
All right. Next we got, all right, we might need to get a little faster here. Falcons visiting the Dolphins. Another ugly game.
That's disgusting. I don't believe in the Dolphins after what I just saw in London, so I'll take the Falcons there.
Oh, touchdown Cole Beasley.
That was a nice play by Allen. Damn.
Dang it. Yeah, your over yards looking pretty good now.
Honestly,
he's up to 200 already. I'm looking good, Ben, and I'm looking real good.
I really thought – I mean, the Titans are playing a lot better than I thought they would.
That's what I need. I need this to continue to be a close game, but I need the Bills to win.
What's Xavier Howard's status going to be?
I think Byron Jones might be more likely to play, though.
I didn't see what their injuries were, so
defense exposed.
Anyway, I mean, I think Tua looked good for someone coming off an injury. Honestly, though, I mean, I feel like the Dolphins could maybe show up and show something, but I mean, football at Hard Rock Stadium has just been looking like absolute garbage between the Dolphins and the Miami Hurricane. So I'm gonna.
The Falcons have been they're not a great team either.
I honestly I'll take the Dolphins. You know what? I don't think either of these teams. It's gonna be one of those games where someone's got to lose, and I think that
win maybe.
I'll take the Falcons because they're on bye, and
that's true. That's a good.
And point. The Dolphins are coming back from London, so between two bad teams, I'll just.
Yeah, that's a good point. I might reconsider considering that. That's a good call. Do you know what? I'm going to stick with it. Even though I think I'm wrong, I'm going to at least stick with it.
With a little confidence, I think I might say Falcons road win.
What the fuck just happened?
What? Fumble?
I think he ran into his own lineman and
he got stunned and just fell.
He's holding his knee. I think he
My stream is completely unintelligible
Oh,
right now,
geez.
partially because it's so far back and also because it's so choppy.
This is the longest half in football we've ever seen.
It's not ending. I'll tell you that much. All righty, yeah, let's get back to these predictions on.
All right, next we got Jets at the Patriots.
I can't bet the Jets.
Patriots.
It's
Yeah,
the Patriots.
That's
yeah.
that's an easy.
All right.
Yeah.
let's just get move on to the next. Next we got Eagles visiting the Raiders.
Hmm.
All right.
I think the Eagles need to win more than the Raiders do, but I think the Raiders are the better team, so I'll go with the Raiders.
You know what? Lane Johnson is coming back. I think that the Eagles may have a little kick in the nuts. I think they've had a couple. They played well. They played okay against. They kept it close against the Chiefs. They kept it close against the Patriots. I think, or not the Patriots, the Bucks. Sorry, Tom Brady, Freudian slip. I think that they could beat the Raiders. I'm gonna stick with the Eagles. They're only 3-point dogs. I'm gonna go with the definitely a biased pick, but if they were to win a game as the dog, I think this is a good choice.
That's fair. No, I wouldn't surprise me. But I don't buy into it, I guess.
Oh, that's fair.
On Derek Carr, I mean, if he continues to ball out, it's gonna be tough. Damn. I mean, give me the I mean, Raiders are at home. I think that's the big difference there. I think if Eagles were home, I would take them, but
That's true. I'm sticking with
give me the Raiders. I don't want to say it, but give me the Raiders. All right, next up, this is one that'll take 2 seconds. Lions
Rams.
Yeah, Rams.
Yeah.
Matt Stafford plays his old team. Jared Goff plays his old team.
Ooh, revenge game.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, so the spread for this game is opening up at 15 points.
No way.
I think I'm hammering that, honestly. I think I'm hammering the Rams still. I think this is just going to be
that?
Matt
How about
Stafford.
that? Do you think the Lions will cover a 15-point spread?
No, I don't.
No, I don't.
I think it's going to be
so
Matt
either.
Stafford saying, "Hey, you guys remember me," and then dropping 40 points on them.
Matt Stafford is gonna be pissed.
That's going to be a disgusting game.
All right, running these next few. We got Bears at Buccaneers. Yeah, give me the
Bucks.
All right, and then
Bucks, yeah.
Another really bad game. Texans at Arizona.
Oh, geez.
Arizona.
The old JJ Watt, DeAndre Hopkins revenge game. Give me the Rizzy card.
Who's gonna be coming in for David Mills when he gets his carcass draw?
Let's see. They're back up right.
Or Tyrod Taylor have out. He's
on short-term IR, so he might be eligible to come back this week, but I haven't heard any word.
Jeff Driscoll.
Is it Driscoll? Oh my God. That would be electric.
All right. And then next
Sunday. What a horrible Sunday night game.
This is not
Colts
great.
at 49ers.
Dude, I don't even I think the Colts are playing good ball right now, whereas I'm not really sure what to make of the 49ers. So I'll take the Colts.
Their defense is really good. It's just their offense is garbage.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think that there was a lot of good from the 49ers early. I thought they were going to be a tough team to beat in that division, but wheels fall off, but yeah, I honestly, I might want to stick with not the Giants, Jesus Christ. I think I'll stick with the 49ers. I think that they can, I mean, granted, yeah, a team's on a roll when a team's on a roll, but I think San Francisco has the ability to kind of put a stop to that at home.
Yeah, I also think we'll see.
I mean, 8:20 Eastern time start. Indianapolis is in the central time zone, maybe a little bit of a time change. Mix up playing that late on the West Coast, who knows?
Also, to note, apparently Baker's getting an MRI because his about his shoulder. Chubb's Odell's
no shit with Baker. He's got
maybe it's in their best interest to rest him this week and see if he can heal up for the big Steelers game. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Who's going to come in for Baker again? Who's their second string?
Keenum. I'm pretty sure Keenum's still there.
Yep.
And
All
then
right,
Best
do we at
case
least have a good- do
scenario.
we have a good Monday night game to top this off?
nope,
No.
we got the
Oh,
Saints
good.
at the Seahawks. I think
Oh,
I'm going
the
Saints.
Seahawks in prime time again. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I think
Well,
Saints, I guess.
everyone thought no one expected them to be no one expected to have
Yeah, I mean, it's not the
freaking
schedule
Geno
maker's fault
Smith.
that Russ got hurt, but that's pretty brutal.
But that's a gimme for the Saints. They gotta love having that happen because that gives them that could every win you can get in the win column is
Again, that
awesome.
wild card race is gonna come down to who can get the wins. Yep. A lot of teams on bye this week. Wow. Bills, Cowboys, Jaguars, Chargers, Vikings,
Thank
Steelers.
God the
6
Jaguars
teams.
are on a bye. I'm sick and tired of hearing about that.
Yeah,
gong
this week
show.
has the most teams on bye. Only week with six teams on bye.
Good for football.
All right, I think we'll call that a wrap now. That's half.
Yep. Here's to Josh Allen over 290 and Bills money line. That'll $70 headed my way if that hits.
Dawson Knox needs to show. Well, they I think they'll go to Dawson Knox.
All right. See you guys later.
Later.
Peace.
Oh man.